Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I'm going to be doing an art supply haul video. Now, for those of you new to my channel, or if you just like a haul video and you haven't been following along on my journey, for the entirety of 2022, I did a no-buy art supply and purchased nothing. I have a playlist of over 45 videos where I discuss things every month and check in every month and show folks what I've used up and what's going on in my thought process and what I'm learning. I will link that in the description box because I did learn an absolute ton. Now, one of the things I set out to do was keep to a budget. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I set a budget for myself for $500, and what I did was I split up my largest temptation, which is surfaces paper. That's what I like to create on. And then my lower temptation, which is the general art supply. Now, I've already done the paper purchase for 2023. As I'm recording this, it is June of 2023. I will link that haul video if you want to see which paper and things I purchased. It was like planners and all the paper and stuff I would need for the year. And I bought a huge roll of Strathmore Mixed Media 500 paper. I will throw up a photo of that. And that was predominantly, that's going to last me all this year, all next year, and we'll see how far it gets me into 2025. But I haven't purchased art mediums, things to create, draw with, paint with, for over a year and a half now. So this is that video. Now, I have taken out the price. I set $500 US for both purchases in total to see if I could get under that. I didn't, but wait. I also bought editing software for my channel, which was $80, and I did not configure that in. So please don't be too disappointed. I purchased from three places. I did Jet Pens, Blick, and Amazon. I live in a forest. We don't have a lot of options. So what I purchase is what I have for the year. This is my Jet Pens purchase. For the totality of this year, I am doing a Stology. I purchased the 365 hoping one would last me for a full year, but with creating, there is bleed through and ghosting, and it's just too extreme for some of the mediums that I use. So some of my art, you can see that there's just no way I can create on both sides and have it look okay. So that is what I purchased from Jet Pens. Now, some of this I was able to get out of packaging before pre-recording. If you suffer from misophonia, I apologize. There's going to be a lot of repetitive packaging noises. If you're into ASMR, yay! Yay, stick around. Okay, that probably wasn't enough, was it? Anyway, so I have found with the Stology, and I can do a full review on the Stology paper if you're super interested, because I've tried a lot of weird things on that paper. Oh my gosh, that's loud. That I really like pen and ink on the Stology, most of all. Like, that's my favorite medium. That doesn't mean you can't create with any other medium. That just means that's the one I prefer when I am creating. Now, as you can see, I've been doing this every day. I only have about 10 pages left, so I need my new one. And what I purchased from Jet Pens, I got an 05. You know what happens? And I'll tell you what one of the things is that gets me every time, is the fact that I get really close to the minimum amount for free shipping. So I end up throwing in something extra. That will be my downfall in the end. You will see when I go to calculate it all out and tell you about my budget. So I purchased an 05. This is the Hunter Green Micron. I really like jewel tones. I purchased a cartridge for the Pentel brush pens, and I got one in pink. I thought, if we're gonna go outside my comfort zone and really get weird with it, let's do a pink cartridge. Now, these are both full of black ink right now, and we'll get to that in a second. And then this is the Pilot Juice. This is the turquoise green in 05. I really just love this color. It's just a very beautiful color. And I used one up last year. So the nib I have on this one already is just, I don't know, I'm having trouble with some of my micron nibs. And I don't know if I'm pressing too hard or if they're softer, but I needed to purchase a new one. So with the Stology, I purchased the Midori A5 plastic cover just to protect it because my desk gets super messy. If I am doing dry mediums or tutorials with you or with my kids or whatever I'm working on, my desk becomes an absolute nightmare. And just, while I'm not a big fan of the plastic aesthetic, it's needed. It's needed in my life. I get slapdash and stuff becomes a mess. So the A5 cover fits well. I wouldn't recommend adding a lot of ephemera or tip-ins or washi tape in like collage elements. I have about 4 or 5. What I did was charcoal, and then I would put in like a plastic cover. This one is chalk. This is like a vellum sheet added in to protect it. But it does make it thicker, and the Midori cover is just a little snug. So keep that in mind if you're thinking of doing a collage with this. That I don't know how well the Stology spine adds or can handle like a lot of extra thickness, because they don't have a specific cover, and it's the Midori one. So this is what I purchased from Jet Pens. Now let's move on to Blick. And a lot of the Blick stuff I tried to get out of their plastic bags and I didn't finish. So, oh my gosh. And we're gonna do something cool with this. I'll show you. Okay. So I purchased some new brushes. I just get the Winsor Newton Cotton. It's not deep. I use synthetic, and you have to replace those a little more often than natural hair anyway. And these are fine, most of these are fine detail brushes. I tend to work small. The A5 size is where I feel like most comfortable. But we can look at some of my old, oh, this is nice. And everything comes to a point. We can look at some of my fine detail brushes. Like I have some that, oh, they're in a bad way. And I will show you up close, like what that looks like all beat up. And then I will show you what a new one looks like. All brand new up close. I'm not putting that back on. So what I purchased was the 40, the 0000, or 4/0, sometimes it's written. I have a 2, a 3, a 4, a 000. This is the 4. I really like 4s. A 0, a 1, and a 00. I find that when I work small and I work miniature and I do things that require a lot of detail, these brushes tend to wear out the fastest for me specifically. Within like a year and a half, 2 years, I need to replace them all. So this is what this is. Let me show you something. Okay, this is a mermaid for Mermaid. I have tons of playlists. I just don't work huge. Like I want to work huge and I always think about working huge and then I don't end up doing it. So I just need smaller brushes for the things I do. And I have some like Halloween sketchbooks if you're into like spooky watercolors. But I didn't need to purchase any watercolors. One thing my No Buy Art Supply taught me was that there is no way I can burn through the amount of watercolor I have, and by far I don't have a ton, but there's no way I can use it all up unless I go like monochromatically for a couple months per tube. There's just no way, because I just don't work really large. I don't work A3 or A2. I just don't go that big. So I purchased a ton of brushes from Blick. And I purchased a refill on the Pentel brush pen, and there's supposed to be 2 in here, but I actually ran out mid-illustration and had to reload one, so I've already been dipping into it, but at least you know I use what I buy. Oh gosh, okay. More brush soap. This is my favorite brush soap. I've been using this since the 1990s, and I have really sensitive skin, and I've had no problem with this whatsoever. The other things I purchased, I got some more microns, but I got the plastic nibs, and I want to see if they last longer. Now I know how much it takes. This is about a 0.45 for the plastic nib. I did an entire sketchbook with 1 pen, and I'll just link my sketchbook tours. It was aquatic animals underwater, so I know about how much ink is in a micron, and I'm hurting the nibs before I can use up the ink, and that's not a good place to be in. So I got a black, a blue black, and then the sepia, because brown is beautiful. 1 pen I don't have. This is a brush Sigan pen, and it's not for the pen, it's for the color. This is very much a warm yellow, like a yellow ochre. And the only yellow pen I have is a micron yellow, and it is very much a lemon yellow. It's very much a cool yellow. So I wanted a warm yellow, and now I have a warm yellow pen. And I've never owned one before, so this is brand new. Like some of these, like a lot of this is just replacement. This is a brand new product to me. I also wanted to try a couple other fine liner pens I've never tried before, but I have a jar of fine liners I need to use up first. So these I probably won't get to till about January of 2024. I can't purchase mediums again until around summer of next year. It's going to be an entire year before I purchase mediums and things. So I went ahead and purchased the Copic Multiliner SP in 0.3. This was a more expensive pen. It is metal. I'm really hoping the nib can take somebody heavy-handed. We're gonna see. And then I bought a Uni Pen fine line in 0.3. I'll do reviews on these pens if you want me to talk about fine liners and things, but it probably won't be up till next year. I need to use stuff for over 30 days before I can have like a really educated opinion on the product. I bought some colors. So I own 4 colored pencils. Let me show you my jar. This is the Faber-Castell Polychromos. I own the 36 set. And I would say that the 36 set is just the perfect sort of mid-balance for me personally. The only problem with the 36 set is that it doesn't come with dark green. Now I've purchased dark green individually before. Here's the first one I used up, and here is the next one I am on. This is how much I have left. It's not very much. 2021 was a huge year for colored pencils for me, so I purchased some more green. It's just really, really pretty. This one is the pine green. This is what I've repurchased here. You can see it looks a little darker in the body paint. Interesting. And then I purchased 3 new colors. So these are the Caran d'Ache Luminescence. And oh, if I could read, this is the dark Phalocene green. And this one is Carmine, which is a very beautiful sort of deep red brick. There's definitely some brown in there. If it were a watercolor, they'd probably call it Indian red. And then this is a color, this is ultramarine pink. This is a color I couldn't make with the 36 set I own. I couldn't make a cool pale pink. Now, I have done a few colored pencil challenges in my time, and I've tried to do more realistic ones. So here's an insect one I did with hand lettering. Again, there's a sketchbook tour. Orchid Mantis. It's really hard. These are very warm pinks. This is very much a cool pale pink. There are a couple things I didn't make because I just couldn't get close enough and it looked too wonky. Another one I did was the Fall Fungi Challenge. These are little A6. This is just different mushrooms. Looks very washed out on my camera. Again, I have sketchbook tours of these where I take my time and show you all of them. But in doing like sketchbook challenges, drawing every day, filling sketchbooks, you really get to see sort of the limitations and parameters around different sets. And I would say for me that the Polychromos set in 36 is pretty good. It has a little bit too many oranges and yellows, but that I did have to supplement. You absolutely need to have a dark green somewhere in that set because there just isn't one. So, and you would spend way too much time trying to make dark green every single time for different things. So, this is what I purchased from Blick. And then the last thing was from Amazon. Oh my gosh. Scoot over, make room. I know, I'm gonna have to do more colored pencil things. Okay. So these are refills. So this is the Uniball Signo in gold. These are high release. I really, really like them. Instead of doing sort of the gold leafing, this comes kind of close in ink format, but you burn through them quickly. And then here is the metallic. These are the Pilot G2s, and I've burned through those. I will show you empties mid-year, and next year I'll be buying more silvers. Needless to say. So I had no golds, so I leaned into all my silver, and then next year it's just going to be a rotating thing of metallics. They're so much fun to add. And this was just a better deal on Amazon. I bought a little tiny ruler. I have a little tiny ruler. I use it all the time, but all the numbers are wearing off. Like, you can't see the numbers anymore. I have no idea how old this is. This is well over 10 years old. And I use it for absolutely everything. I always have a couple rulers at my desk, so it was time for a new one. Yay! Every once in a while I need circles, and I was using like biscuit cookie cutters. It was horrible because of the seam. I will show you what I was doing one year. One year I did March of the Robots, and to do circles, this was my take on robots anyways. I had some circles in here, and it was just an absolute nightmare trying to figure out how to get them. I have a compass. My compass is wonky. I don't know. I'll move on from it. But this is great because I can share these two products with my kids, my husband, you know. The more things I can share, the more use I'll get out of them, and the better purchase they will be. And then last but not least, I bought a hairdryer. Just stay with me. If you're a long-time follower of this channel, I have had many issues with my watercolors. This is the Schminke, the Hoodrum Aquarelle. I get mold, so I can't store any of my watercolors in tins. This is the 36 set plus gold, silver. I have multiple videos. The amount of humidity we have in our air where we live is absolutely wild. Like, at any given time, it's in the 90%. And so stuff just doesn't dry. And when I have done watercolor challenges in the winter time, which is October through May, where I live, things take a long time to dry. It was time for a multi-purpose tool to dry, and the great thing about this is we can now do hair for, you know, kids and the dog and art. So now I can dry stuff. And I went with this one. I don't know, it had over 12,000 reviews on Amazon. It was fairly budget. I figured that was fine. So this is everything I purchased as far as for the next year for tools. This won't be enough to get me through the year, but that's okay. once 2024 hits, I have a completely different thing I am doing, and it's going to be utilizing the roll of paper I have instead of sketchbooks. And when I get there, we'll get there. So the question is, how much did I spend? This is my planner for the year. This is the B6 Midori. And I've been making notes in the back. I went over. So $500 for the paper purchase in December, the surface purchase. And then with this medium surface combined, I spent $502.02. And I know it was one of these pens. It was one of these pens so I could get free shipping and save $5. That's exactly what it was. And those things get me every time. And it was the $80 video editing software I purchased. And I went with that one because it was a one-time purchase, and I figured, okay, the reviews are good. I only have to buy it once, so I don't have to calculate this into every budget every year, like an Adobe product, which I'm not doing until my computer dies, and then I'll have to figure all that out. But it just is, it's very intuitive. I'm using the Wondershare program. I'll link it if you're interested. I don't have a lot of time to learn tons of stuff, even though I love learning. So I needed something that was fairly like easy to get off the ground, easy to use, and then I could just get going with my day and just edit, you know, as best as possible with the time I have. So if we take that $80 out, I didn't configure, then I'm good. Then I spent, you know, $422. But I'm adding it in just because my channel is all art, and it's just everything that goes to my channel is art. So, and an art supply and something I need. So in that instance, I went $2 over this year, which tells me, because I hadn't calculated the computer editing software, that I'm right where I should be with my money. I will link, you know, again, the playlist of my no-buy. I went through how much I spent in 2021, which made me realize I needed a no-buy in 2022, which totally reshifted my way of thinking that the supplies are tools and the art is the art, and creating the art is what's most important in doing all of this. I don't want to promote consumerism, but I do want to set an example that get the things you need to help save you with the time and allotments. You know, if I can explain something, if I can show you something, if I can help you in any way, like explain what certain paper does or what certain tools look like, I'm more than glad to do that. But I will never purchase items specifically for just one video because it's a waste. It'll just sit on my shelf. And I'm 43, and by now I know the stuff I use and the stuff I don't use. Like, I know the parameters of that for myself. So these are the things I'm using, and while the surfaces and stuff will change and get spiced up every year, even my planners will be different every year. This is just, I drew with colored pencil for the Year of the Rabbit. But everything else kind of is the same. I love dry media. I love wet media. I predominantly stick to watercolor for that. So this is what I got. Maybe it looks like a lot, maybe it doesn't. I can't tell. I don't really watch everybody else's haul videos because those supplies aren't for me. Those supplies are clearly for them. That's why they bought them. So I thought it would be fun to get out my Stology and draw with some of my new products. So let's do that. I also promised to show you my empties. Let me show you my empties for the year. I have gone through 3 of the Pentel brush cartridges, and I have used up 2 of the Uniball Signo in silver. So this is what I've used up in 6 months. A lot of high release inks, just because, again, I like ink on the Stology. So I just thought I would show you those, and then, you know, the end of the year I'll show you everything I've used up. But I am using my supplies, and some of these I've had for a while, so that's really, really good that I'm going through them. All right, so here's my Stalogy 365. I purchased black. It's a very striking color. I like it. They have some limited edition colors, but I think they have like grid patterns inside. And I just wanted the plain page. I'm using a Traveler's pencil board. It's not quite the right size. This is an A5. And I thought about purchasing an A5 pencil board just so I don't get some sort of, I get lines sometimes from the pressure, but I've gone 6 months without one, so I kind of just figured it's fine. So here is all the new stuff. So I can either draw an animal or a portrait. Like, how weird do I want to get with it? Okay, we're gonna get weird. Are you ready? Okay. This is the Carmine Luminescence. I only have one other luminescence, and that's the Malachite colored pencil, and that is a convenience shade I purchased. It is a very beautiful teal, and instead of having to make that color all the time, it was just easier to purchase. You can spend the time, you can spend the money. I have a very limited amount of time in my life, and sometimes it feels like it's shrinking, so having some convenience colors really saves me a bundle of time. You're like, what is she drawing? I went with person. I went with portrait. So we'll give this person a little bob. And I don't know how any of this uses and feels and works on this paper, so we're gonna try it. Oh, that's very much yellow ochre. Okay. All right, I'm here for it. I am drawing sort of clothing. Let's see how this feels. This is very nice. I mean, the Stalogy paper has zero tooth to it. There's no texture. It's very thin. It does not have the same coating or sort of thing that the Tomoe River has. So watercolors and wet media tends to bleed more. But if you're real good at dry brush and you want just a couple things, this is very, feels good. You're like, this is gonna be a really strange illustration. You're correct. You're correct. We're going for the gusto here. Oh, and this has a little cap on it. That's cute. Okay. Let's do a neck in here. And this one comes in other sizes. So this is a 0.5, but I think they have a 0.7 or a 0.3. I don't know. I just really enjoy this color. And I've used it for so many things. And I have like a quotations book that I started with this pen. And once I used this pen up, I realized it'd be weird to now go through and add a different pen. I don't know. Does that sound too like perfectionist and strange? Okay, here's the blue. I wouldn't say the formula on this has changed. It's a little interesting. It's a scotch different. All right, so we'll go back and add some more carmine. I've never had a color like this. It's very beautiful. And I like the luminescence. If you don't do fine details, having softer colored pencils for blending are, like this one, are wonderful. But if you work small and need tiny details, having a pencil this soft, you're gonna have to sharpen it all the time. And you're really gonna burn through your pencils. I mean, you can, and I have, and it's fine. I mean, know the rules so you can break them. But just know that if you end up burning through some of your favorite color pencils really, really quickly, you might need something more firm, like a Derwent. Especially if you work tiny and you really need the pointed tip. Let's add another color. Let's go in with the pine green. Ooh, I love this green, it's so pretty. I did an entire sketchbook with just this color. Yeah, I play favorites. I do that with indigo watercolor too. I've done that 2 times in a row for Halloween themed sketchbooks. Just really like what I like. But in going monochromatic and doing that with sketchbooks, you really realize like how far you can stretch a tube of paint. And like I said, I have that 36 set, and then I have a jar of granulating watercolor paint tubes. So I'm good for years. Unless I like use up a specific color. I have some acrylics, and I just hardly ever acrylic. I did a little bit in April of 2022. I know, you're like, that's real specific memory there. But I hadn't acryliced in like years and years and years, so it was really strange. I mean, it was fine. I just became so hyper aware of the odor. Like, there's an odor with acrylic paint that you don't have with watercolor. Oh gosh, this is nice. Okay, this is the cool pale pink. Can you see that on camera? Ooh, that's real pale. I apologize for that being so pale. I'll commit. Anyway, this one's real soft. The pigment in this one blends out very nice. Let's do some eyes here. Let's see, we'll do, I'm just making bizarre color choices here. By no means is this a good example of color theory. That's okay. It's just so much fun to use. I haven't used a new product in so long that I can't wait. You know when you love art and you just can't wait? Me too. Okay. Little nose. Oh, there's my... I've only poked through this paper twice. So in terms of thinness, I've managed, even though I'm pretty heavy-handed, to be all right. You have no ear, and that's my fault. You have a little bit of ear showing. She look a little cranky. She's not supposed to be cranky. We could even have a little bit of eyelash coming through here. And hair. I like messy hair. It's a real tough time trying to figure out this hair. I love portraits. Portraits are so much fun. People are so fascinating. Okay. It's a weird blend, that's for sure. And then, do I want to add, let's see, we have a Micron. What is this? This is the blue black. Oh, you know what we should do? We should have some hair coming through the other side. That'll help. Tie it all in. Okay. Every little bit helps. Blue black. We can do individual strands. This is the plastic nib. Oh, this is nice. You can see why, like, pen on smooth surface is so great. It's really, really gentle for the product. Maybe I should mix the colors in a little bit better. I'm gonna make some browns. Okay. that's not bad. If you go really, really light with colored pencil before you go dark, you can always add more. It becomes harder to lift, and then your colors tend to muddy. So my best tip for colored pencils is start really light and pale, and then you can always add more to it. Okay. Well, I feel like she's got nothing going on her hair here. Okay. All right. Here's a lady. You know what I could do? I could do something really strange. I'm kind of tempted to try this one. The Copic multi-liner. Okay, let's try this guy. Let's see how well he works. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm gonna have to try this on paper with a tooth as well, just to get a feel for it. That's very interesting. I do like the 0.3. Such a fine detail you can get with that. Boy, how mixed is your media? Yes, yes. If you like having your hair stand straight up, this is for you. This is fun. Okay. Well, I'll have to get to know that one a little bit more and figure out what I want to do with that guy. This is the blue-black micron. Little hatching, little line work, little trying to use all the pens. Why not have some pink in the hair? A little spot color. It reinforces the profile line art. Okay. I mean, it's weird, right? It is a person. Gosh, I love the luminescence. That's such a nice, smooth. If you have trouble blending, getting a higher end colored pencil that has, you know, more oil, more wax, and a higher quality pigment really helps with the blending. If that's something you want to concentrate on or work on. Add a little pink to this, why not? Weird is wonderful. Okay. Let's do some strange things here. All right. Background, I have my gold and silver Pilot pens. These all have little caps on them too. Here's what the cap looks like for the tip. It's so tiny. Just another reason to keep my fingernails long. I can't get those things off if I don't have long nails. Okay. We'll just have some stripes going on in the background maybe. Now I have a gold Posca that I'm trying to finish up. It is in the pin. It's the 0.7. It's the smallest Posca tip they make. And it's a little brassy. It's not quite as bright and shiny. And when you're looking for something bright and shiny, like brassy doesn't cover it. I don't know why. I don't know why I can't make a concession. So I'm using it up. I have a bunch of pens that I purchased to try. And then I stuck them in jars because I was like, okay, I tried it and it's not my favorite. It's either I don't like how it works, or I don't like how it layers, or the color seems a little off for the desired effect I always want that pen to be for. So I'm trying to use up all that stuff. So hopefully by next year when I go to do this order again next summer, the only pens I own are just my favorites. The things I always use, the things I gravitate towards and always go back to. This one has a cap too. I'm going to have all these little tiny things rolling around on my desk with everything else. Oh, it's funny. This is going to have a sheen to it, and I'm the only one who's going to be able to see it. That's unfortunate. I would do like swatches, but most of these products I've owned before, or I've owned the color before. So it's just, for me, I'd just rather sit down and draw something instead of swatch it out. You know, it's fine. For paints, I highly recommend, because what it looks like and how it dries can be very different. It's more noticeable in acrylic, I would say, than watercolor. But having swatch cards or swatch books or whatever you choose to do to make sure you know how everything looks can really help up your game when it comes to creating. Can you see the metallic? Not really. There's no... a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Okay, let's zoom in and see my mess. Okay. So here we are, pretty zoomed in. Here's the profile illustration. A little bit of shirt there, a little bit of line art, colored pencil. There we go. So, using all the products I have that I've purchased, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for following along with my art journey. It means a lot that you would be here and hang out and draw with me, create with me, and just be generally like interested in what I'm doing and working on. It means so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the haul. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.